Good morning to our virtual congregation this morning. On behalf of Jackie and I, who are the joint presidents of the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, I offer you a warm and loving welcome this morning. From the church point of view, it's cold because the heating's off, but we hope to get that working by next week and have the Sunday congregation physically back with us again. I'd like to welcome our medium, who's first time ever via Wimbledon Church, via the great internet, Simone Key. Simone, welcome to Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. I hope you have a lovely morning with us. And we're looking forward to having you here today with us. And also welcome Phil, who most of you at Wimbledon know, Phil Shaw, who will be giving us a reading this morning. And Phil will be our medium, I think, in a couple of weeks' time or next week. I'm not sure. Next week. So friends, I bid you a warm welcome. I would ask you now to find somewhere peaceful and quiet while I open our meeting with prayer. Divine, we ask thy presence not only in our hearts and our minds this morning, but within the homes that we are representing. We ask for the power and love of the Spirit to come forward, to bring forward the manifestation of its power, to bring peace to ourselves and our homes. For at this time, great architect, we are anxious about what's going on in this world. So send thy healing balm to us all and give us that peace. Father, Mother God, we offer up ourselves this morning to be empty vessels filled with thy presence and thy spirit. And we ask that blessing, that deep spiritual blessing that you promised us for those who communicate with you. So we ask that blessing here and now on those seen and unseen. To the end of our service, so mote it be. Amen. Let us just say the Lord's Prayer, those who wish to. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I'd like to also remind you, friends, that those who can, we have a way of collection this morning via PayPal, and Richard will put that up in the moment, the details, but it's www.paypal.com paypalme/LAD promotions or LAD proms. So if you can, I'll be really grateful. And this morning, I want to dedicate this service of love and truth to the National Police Memorial Day and to that sergeant who was killed in Croydon. He's known to some members of my family who have worked with him in the past and some very good friends of mine also. So we send peace and light to his wife and family. Now I'm going to ask Jackie to read him from Phil.
Good morning, everyone. I've chosen to read one of the poetic essays by the Lebanese artist, poet and writer Khalil Gibran. As a spiritual explorer and psychological astrologer myself, I'm intrigued by the way that planetary configurations between what is currently happening in the sky, planetary transits and motion, and an individual's natal birth chart, how they inspire us to read certain books and research particular authors whose writing reflects what is happening in the human psyche and collective consciousness at any given time. So, for the budding and professional astrologers with us today, transiting Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter are currently trining Gibran's natal Pluto Chiron and conjuncting his natal Sun Mercury. So our perception of death and what this configuration represents as a concept is being revisioned in our consciousness as part of our planetary ascension and awakening and healing process, and in the connection we have with Gibran's spirit and the sole purpose of his writing. So this is his short essay entitled Death.
Thank you, Phil.
You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, Open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond, and like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king, whose hand is to be laid upon him in honour. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die, but to stand naked in the wind and to melt in the sun? And what is it to cease breathing, but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you very much indeed. I'd also like to apologise. I've got slightly out of sync against the running order, but I would like to say it's just my dyslexia. It's a fact I've got a bad left eye at the moment, so I'm out of sync. So I'm having a procedure done on Tuesday. So I'm going to ask Jackie now to come forward and do the healing moments.
Good morning, everyone. Maybe we could do with using that lovely backdrop that Phil has got to have as a healing meditation. If we can just think of all of those that are on our healing books in all of the churches that may be closed at this time or may be lucky enough to have opened, but those people that we know ourselves, those that are in our hearts. And I have a list this morning, and I'd also like us to put the family of the sergeant from Croydon Police, Matt and Turner, on the list. Christine and Helen, who have terminal cancer, that live in Newcastle. Amber, our own Kelly and Stephen, Keith Shepperson, and Jill. And I say all the other individuals we know that are not so great this morning. Ray has had 2 teeth out this week, and as I say, he's got an eye problem. So hopefully by next Sunday he'll be that much better. We've seen a little better and being able to not have pain so much in his jaw. But if we can just relax, use the next minute or so to just link in with our healing guides, our healing angels, as we ask our Father, Mother God, healing angels, to take this healing to all of those in need, to embrace our church family, to embrace world family, to embrace Mother Nature herself, for all of those that are still experiencing hurricanes, fires, floods, for those that experience mental anguish, for those that are working on our front line in our NHS hospitals, worried probably about exactly how the COVID numbers are going up, worried what the next few weeks will bring. So let's give them physical energy of healing and mental energy to get them through all of the trials and tribulations that may be ahead of us. We also ask for ourselves at this time for healing, that we may maintain that positive attitude and that personal responsibility. So hear us, O healing angels, that you will take this healing to those that are in need at this time. And we just, for the next few seconds, think of those individuals and think of ourselves, that we will keep ourselves uplifted and know that together we will go through this. Amen. We know that thy healing angels will do thy work. Amen.
Right, I've lost you here.
Okay, we now say a few names on the screen.
Can you do that for me? That's my eyes.
Yep, most certainly. Sorry, technical issue. We now need to, this is the part of the service where we'd like to just welcome all the individuals that are taking part in this service, of this lovely family that has now gone global. And we know that we have reached over 110,000 people since March. So I don't know if our wonderful editor down in Portsmouth, Richard, is able to put a few names on the screen, because I cannot see any. There's James, our own James, who's recovering. Good morning, James. It's lovely to see your name. Feel as though, sorry?
Tracy Jones.
Tracy Jones. We've now got another name, because the YouTube that I'm seeing is obviously so many seconds behind the Facebook. And there's also a Robert Grammy O'Brien. Granny. Okay, sorry. It's some distance for me. I'm better when I've got the phone on, because I can see it. Lorna is saying hello. Margaret. Lavina. Susie.
Shelley Hall. Mary Dixie, our own Mary. Margaret Barley.
And Margaret Bartley. So it's lovely to hear that you're with us, Margaret, because I know that you've not been able to get out very much at all at this time. So welcome to the service. It's lovely to know that we have our virtual congregation here, and that it has now, increased to go all around the world. So it's lovely to hear from you all. And now I will ask you to give your love and attention to our medium this morning, who is going to give an address. Thank you.
Thank you. So good day, everybody, and thank you for joining this service. It gives me such great pleasure to be here amongst you, even though I can't see you, but knowing that you're there means a lot to me. This morning I'd like to share my thoughts with you about how the Spirit can help us in these times. And obviously they're just my views, but we're all going through a tough time. We have done for the last 6 months, and it looks like we've got another 6 months of this. Each one of us is suffering in our own way. But moving our minds away from that, thinking about what this morning is all about, which is about being in the power of the Spirit, and how the spirit world can help us in these times. Each one of us has a connection to that power, and we can celebrate that power through our expression every day of our lives, in the way we speak to each other, the way we behave towards one another, the way we can look at each other and accept each other, no matter what colour, creed, dogma, nation, makes no difference. We are all joined together in brotherhood and sisterhood through the power of the Spirit. I would just like to share my thoughts with my connection with the Spirit. And I see the spirit world as being a massive light, a light, bright wonder, a wonder that each one of us can share, each one of us can connect with to help us cope with life. When we think about that power of the Spirit, all those minds, those thousands and thousands of minds we have access to that are in that world we call the spirit world, we know that they are there to help us in our everyday lives. I believe that they are like cheerleaders. When you see some cheerleaders in games of sport, you can see how they encourage and they support and they create energy to help that team hopefully succeed. And that's how I see the spirit world, like our own personal cheerleaders who are there to encourage us, to support us, to help us, to cheer us on in times of need. I don't believe that world is there to tell us the answers to our problems, because that's what we're here for. The purpose of life is to experience life in all its forms. And nobody has the right to take those problems away from us. Because if they did, what would we learn? How would we grow? How would we progress? But each one of us has our own relationship with the Spirit, our own rapport. And no matter what we're doing, whether we're serving the spirit world in whatever way, as long as it's with empathy, with compassion, with care, I know that's what they want of me. And I believe that's what they want of you. We know that these times today are difficult. We see it every moment of our lives. And it's so hard because, we know that by smiling at one another is an expression of the Spirit. We know that our behavior is an expression of that same Spirit. But we're not allowed to touch. We're not allowed to smile publicly. And quite rightly so in these times. So please don't think I think contrary to that. But what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with a personal experience. Each one of us has a personal experience of life. And that's where we can bring the spirit world that we know and we love so close to us. Each one has, we have our identity, our personality. And as we blend with that power, we allow that power to become so close to us that there is no division, there's no separateness, but just a joining together of minds. And when we're in that power, no, there's not going to take all our problems away from us, but it gives us a few moments of peace, of wonderment, where just for those few seconds, we can think about something else and realize our true potential, which is to be at one with them and each other. Each one of us has the capacity and capability of reaching out with our minds to draw on that power of spirit, that power of God. Each one of us can use it in our own way to become better people, whether it's to enhance our compassion, our care, and so on, whether it's to help us in our relationships with people, to become more patient, to become more tolerant. For me, that's what being in the power of the Spirit is all about. It's not about being more spiritual that I'm of no earthly use, but understanding spirituality, and more importantly, understanding humanity, no matter whether it's in our world or the spirit world. We are all here today because our own spirit is looking for that support, that help, that enlightenment, that transformation that awakens our minds into thinking beyond and above our everyday lives. We deserve so much more as individuals. We deserve honesty and we deserve truth. And that's the seat, where the seat of it is in the power of the Spirit. And when the spirit world touches our soul, it brings about compassion and care, patience and tolerance, and all those wonderful qualities. But if it doesn't, then we have failed God's work. Each one of us knows that there is so much more to life than death. Each one of us knows that we go on to a world in eternity that's full of love and care, and maybe called bliss to some. Whatever your words are, your vocabulary doesn't matter. It's who you are that matters. The simplicity of the Spirit is everything. And when we touch that power, it opens us up to so much more. It expands our mind. It moves our mind into a different form of thinking, where it's almost like we're in a crest of a wave that carries us forward in our thinking and opens up the very essence of us that draws us all together. I am a part of you, and you are a part of me. And we should never, ever forget that. That is humanity. And I know that that is so important to all of us, that great sense of belonging, that we belong to each other and we belong to the Spirit. And that Spirit is an integral part of us. We would not function without it. So I suggest that today, at some point, you open your mind to the power of the Spirit. You accept them for who they are. Not expect anything, but accept them. And by opening your minds and your hearts, they can come closer to you than ever before, because now is a new start and a new journey in your life. That beginning starts and ends with you and me. None of us is special. We all belong to the same pot of humanity. And each one of us is trying our best to be the best we can be. But when we know we have access to that power of the Spirit, then an awakening begins, a stirring internally begins, because no longer can we be the same. We owe it to ourselves and we owe it to each other to be the best we can be. Now, that doesn't mean faultless. Nobody is faultless. I know the spirit world talks to me about perfect imperfection, because with perfection, there's nowhere to go. But with imperfection, there's a lifetime ahead of us. We learn from our mistakes, and the spirit world works with us, blends with us, to see us through those mistakes and to show us there's other ways of living, there's other ways of life. I know we have a very special religion, because my religion tells me that the spirit world is at my fingertips and is at yours. But together, we can change the world. We can change the world by example of who we are, by being kind, by being courteous, by just caring. And I wish you all every success. Thank you.
Simone, that was wonderful. It's such a wonderful, refreshing moment to receive such a spiritualist address as that. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's very kind.
Great address. Thank you. We're now getting ready to do our clairvoyance. And can I please remind everyone, once again, to keep sharing as much as you possibly can. And also remember, there's about a 20-second delay with saying yes or no. But when you're saying yes or no to Simone, please indicate what you're actually saying yes to or no to. That would help her a great deal. So once again, friends, I welcome and invite Simone to do the clairvoyance for the morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's just see who's joined us this morning then. I am aware of a gentleman who's joined us, and I know he's a dad, and I know he wants to speak to his daughter. And I feel with this gentleman that he passed in his middle 60s, so not terribly old. And I know that he had a lung condition. I believe he had emphysema, which ultimately resulted in a form of pneumonia. But I do feel that with this father, that he was a great timekeeper. Everything about him is very punctual. And whoever I want to talk to would have picked up his watch very recently, which is what I call an expandable watch. It's silver, very similar to mine in colour. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. It's wider than mine, and it's got one of those watches that the whole thing is silver. Does anybody understand that at all, please? Okay, all right. The gentleman I'm aware of, he makes me feel that he was quite a quiet man, quite reserved, and only spoke when he felt he needed to. And somebody who had a very quiet sense of humour. There's everything about him is very modest, very kind man. But I feel that he was, towards the end of his life, he'd been suffering for, he tells me, 4 years. But it was the last 6 months of his life when it all went very badly wrong for him. Anyone understand that at all? Okay. Lots of, oh, that was very nice. Okay, thank you. Okay, so nobody understands that at the moment. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I can't see anything at the moment, but I don't mind. I can see a name, but not just the name. Okay. No, I can't see anything. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, will do. Okay. Yes, I can see. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. So if that's all right with Petra, I'd like to work with her, if that's okay. I get this feeling that there were for Petra from her father, that he and she had a very, very close relationship. And they're very, oh, okay, well, he tells me that's not what, is that I'm sorry about yes to last year. I'm so sorry, I'm not used to working like this. Yeah. What, not him not being well, or no, that's it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, well, I'm going to carry on anyway, because the feeling he gives me anyway is one of closeness to his daughter. I know that there was a very special relationship between them, and they're very similar in personality. And I know with your father, Petra, that he is a man who was a hardworking man who never complained, and he did the very best he could. But he tells you he didn't always get it right. Okay. Okay. Do you understand the last bit, please? It's a delay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm just upset that she's saying, okay, thank you. That's good, because what he's talking about is about the fact that you were with him at the end of his life, and that you spoke to him. And I'm not talking about the very, very end, by the way. I'm talking about maybe the day before, because I know that your father passed when it wasn't expected. He was expected to go, but not at the moment that he went. He went sooner than was expected. Okay. And let's hope that you understood. Okay. Oh, okay. And what he's saying is that he wanted you to know that your thoughts, your prayers, your power helped him so much to make that transition from our world to the spirit world. And you prayed for him with everything you have, that he would be free. You wanted him to be pain-free. You wanted him not to suffer so much. And it's almost like you just prayed with everything you've got. Okay. I just know that your father wants to show you that A, he's alive, and B, he's well, and that he doesn't have those physical disabilities that he had before, but he's also opening up more to in his understanding. He wants you to know that he's not that limited or restricted individual he was when he was here. He's now opening up to so much more, and he's talking about you, Petra, saying that you are that to him everything, absolutely everything, that you mean the world to him, because he's talking about the fact that you have been sending your thoughts to your father almost daily, asking him to be close, asking him to help you, and to help you feel more comfortable in your own skin. Okay. Does she understand all that, please? Yeah. That's lovely. Okay. I hope she can accept the rest. What he wants to say to you, Petra, is that he's here to show you that he's still very, very much a part of your life. He's really very close to you. He wants you to know that he is trying to help you find some peace in your life right now, and nothing to do with the COVID virus, by the way. This is to do with other issues that are going on, to do with the family. And he's saying to you, I want you to know that I'm there, I'm behind the scenes, and I'm trying to look after everybody. You're almost like the middleman, middle woman, should I say, between the spirit world and your family, because he communicates through you so that you can help those people closest to you. He wants you to know that he won't leave your side, because he feels that at the moment you need a lot of support right now, and he's here to help you with that. So I do hope you take his love and his blessing and know that he's here trying to help you. And thank you for working with me. Oh, it is. Okay, let's see who else we've got. Okay, I'm aware of a lady. One or two people? No, I felt I was with Petra because, no, I would have been told if I wasn't. Okay. So I'm aware now of a lady, and I do feel she is a mum. And this is a lady who has got quite a strong personality, very much in contrast to the gentleman I just worked with. This is a lady who's quite a strong character. She says it like it is. She doesn't hold back too much. But I'm not talking about outside the family, only in the family. I feel that she was a woman who enjoyed life and made life work for her every day of her life. She was always on the go. She couldn't sit around. She would get cross if she got to sit for too long. And I know that her daughter is wearing her ring, but on her daughter's right hand, and it's the second finger in, so not the small finger, but the next finger. That's what she's showing me. And does anybody understand that, please? Okay. So there's nobody wearing her ring at the moment. Yeah, I'll wait until I get somebody then. Okay. Yeah, I'm not used to this time delay. No, you're right. Okay. The mum I'm talking to, I feel that she had a kidney problem at the end of her life. And I'm not saying that's the only problem, but one of them, one of the hardest for her to deal with, was a kidney problem. And I know also there was a heart problem and blood pressure that goes with that. But it was like a lot of things. It's just like the body breaking down at the end of her life. Oh, right. She did, but her ring was missing. Okay. Oh, grief. Okay, just bear with me. would both of the two ladies that have just accepted this, or think it may be for them, would they accept the character of this mum or this lady that I'm working with at the moment? Okay. No, they can't all wear a ring the same from their mum. Okay. Right. This is a woman who I feel had, first of all, she's got a kidney problem. She's also got high blood pressure. And I know, because she's just told me, she had high cholesterol as well. So anybody understand that? And let's pare it down. And this, somebody can take it all. Sally Francis. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Because it has to all fit. I can't take bits and pieces. I've only got one contact. So thank you, Sally. I'll work with you if that's all right. Because and that feels right too, because as I'm mentioning the name Sally, your mum comes in very, very close, really close. Okay. And I feel that you have been aware of your mum's presence a lot recently. I'm talking about the last few days. She understand? Yes. Right. Okay. And I feel that there was something about you and your mum together that was very funny, because your mum's got a great sense of humour. She's got a great personality. She didn't hide away. She didn't care what she said. She'd say the words, you know, people got to take me as I am. That's who I am. If they don't like it, well, too bad. That's her attitude to life. And I know that your mum wants to show you how close she is to you, because she's saying that you've not been feeling yourself recently. I'm not saying anyone has, but she's talking about you, not everybody else. And she's talking about the fact that you've been feeling a little bit of fear and trepidation about the future. And she's saying to you, why are you worrying? You know, it always works out all right for you. And she says to you, you know, you think you take 3 steps forward and 2 back, but she's assuring you that really is not the case. She says you've got everything to live for. She talks about her love for you, and that the two of you were a bit like 2 peas in the pod when you got together, because she's talking about how much fun you had between you. And she knows that after her passing, that she was a lover of clothes. And she loved buying clothes. And she talks about all the cardigans she had that were still in bags, that had never been worn, that had been found after she passed. I hope you can accept that. I know that she wants to show you that she's here for you, because she says that you've been saying, Mum, let me know that you're there. Please let me know that you're there. Give me some kind of sign. And she says, I've been giving you signs and you've not taken any notice. She's talking about your lights flickering a lot. She talks about your television's been jumping, and yet you've not recognised it's been your mum that's been behind that. And in fact, there was a time this week where you thought your television was going out of order. So she wants to reassure you that she's trying her hardest to give you that energy, her power, to keep you calm, to help you have more belief in yourself, is what she's saying to you. And she wants to reassure you that everything's going according to plan. I'm not a fortune teller, but she wants to say to you that you really don't have anything to worry about. She wants you to know that things are going well, because she says you deserve every happiness. She talks about new things changing, and you've been thinking about decorating or changing your home in some way. And she's happy with that, because you're the kind of person, Sally, when you're busy, you don't worry so much. It's when you're not as active. And she was exactly the same. That's why she resonates with you so much. She knows you so well. She wants you to know that she's here for you, to give you that very special time you have together. She says to you that you're aware of her, but you talk yourself out of it. You're aware, suddenly you think, oh, Mum's here, and they go, oh no, maybe it wasn't Mum, it was somebody else. I don't know who that was. And she's saying, no, it's me. It's me. I want you to know that I'm not going anywhere. I wouldn't leave you. And she's talking about you organising a holiday right now, or thinking about a holiday, obviously not soon, but she wants to encourage you to do that, because she feels that you're one of these people that needs to invest in yourself. So in other words, you know, if you've got something planned, you can look forward to that, and it keeps you going for a few months. And that's what she wants for you. But she's so happy to be here, and she knows that you have other pieces of her jewellery as well. You have another ring, and you also have a brooch of hers too. I know that you would have to go and look into a box for them, that you're not wearing them. But she wants you to know that she's so happy to be here for you, and to let you know you're not the only one that's worried about what's going on, that she's sharing in that concern with you. But she's trying her hardest to help you, and she wants you to relax a little bit more. So please, please take your mum's love. She's a lovely lady, and thank you for working with me. And I hope that's helped you. Thank you. Okay, let's see who else has joined us. Okay, I'm aware of a gentleman who's joined us, and he's a grandfather, and I believe he's on a mother's side of the family. And I know that this was a man who he was a strong man, very strong, always in the background, didn't say too much, but he was always there for his family. He lived for his family. And I feel that at the end of his life, he passed with a stomach condition, and he looks well in his 80s to me. I hope I'm not doing him a disservice. And I know that he was a man who loved children, and the smaller the better. You know, when he's got lots of kids talking, and he likes to play cards and play games. And it was very common to see him at the dining room table, but he sits sideways on. He never sat full on. And I can see him playing cards with a group of family members. And I know that he cheated. And you would have played for old pennies. That's what I'm saying. Does anybody understand that, please? Yeah. Okay. All right. I know that this was the man who took a lot of pride in his car, believe it or not. That's what he's just told me. He liked to see it. Oh, Ilana. Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay. And can I just ask if she understands all the rest of the information, please? Yeah, please. I just got to know it's all right for her. Let's see. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. It's so quiet. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to keep going if that's all right with her, because I don't want to lose this contact. Okay. Because I'm aware of her granddad, who I believe was a man who was purely here for his family. Everything was about family. He's a very, very kind man, and he was somebody who was very well respected in the community as well. People would have known him, not closely, but they would have had respect for him. He was always there to help somebody if it was needed. And I feel with her grandfather that he was a man that people loved. And although he's not at all egotistical, he's very, very modest. But I'm aware of his demeanour, his personality. He would have brought calm into every situation that was chaos. I feel with him that he was a man who believed in life, and he was ambitious for his family. He wanted everyone to succeed, and he loved the idea of education, even though he wasn't able to have the education that he would have liked in his time. But I know that there is an issue to do with education at the moment, which is why he wants to talk to his granddaughter. Right. Right. Okay. Can I just talk to her for a moment, to Michelle? Because if she can understand that, then she will understand that either she or somebody in her family is thinking about going back into education or expanding on their education. I'm talking about formal education, by the way. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It doesn't normally work like that for me, but I'll have to, I'll have to accept that she's right. Okay, because if she can accept it all, and I was working with her, but I don't normally work like that. Okay. But we'll just go with the flow. Okay. Can Irene accept the education apart from all the other things I've said? Yes. Yeah, good. Okay. Right. Because I know that I can't see how I would go back to the same person, because the spirit world would know that I'd already given Sally a message, but I want to thank her anyway for owning up to that. But I know that the person I'm with, I feel he was somebody who was interested in education, not necessarily a teacher, but that Irene must be thinking about going back into education, or someone close is considering going back into education. Oh, excellent. Okay, that's better. Because I know that her grandfather is talking to her about this need now to really become more focused on what she wants. And he is talking about her, by the way, not about anybody else. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna. That's fine. That's great, because I know it's close family. It's really close family. Okay. Because what your grandfather is saying to you, that your daughter has been restricting her vision. He says that she's thinking about. She's thinking small, basically, that she doesn't want to do anything that she feels a little bit stretched or out of her depth. And he's saying to her that she should go for what she really wants and not take the second best. And I do hope you understand that. Okay. I don't want to give people information that they don't accept. So I'm waiting. Yeah, in this way, I've never done it before. I've worked online lots, millions of times, but not in this way. Okay, let's see what else he wants to say, because he seems to feel that at the moment, her daughter, Irene's daughter, is feeling very insecure about education, and he's here in the background to try and give her that support and the confidence as well. It's important that her daughter knows that her great-grandfather, is really, really behind her too, because she was very special to him as well. And even though he's talking about education, he really wants to show Irene that he's here for you too. He wants to show you that you have that support from your family in the spirit world, that no one's going anywhere. Everyone wants to be around you at the moment, because they know that there's lots of members of your family who are all sort of scattered, if you like, you know, not living too close together. And it isn't through choice, it's just need where life has taken them. And he wants to say to you, whatever happens, I will be there. I'll be giving you the words that you need to help other people. He talks about the fact that you sit regularly in the power of the Spirit, and he just joins you in that. And he brings you his presence, which is all about peace and acceptance. And that's why he's here. He wants you to feel better in yourself. No, not that you're ill, that's not what I'm saying, but less stressed, because you've got a lot of things in your family that are quite stressful right now. And he's saying, just take a little bit of time out for yourself. Even a few minutes is fine. Just go for a walk. And if you want to talk to him, ask him to come close to you, and he will always be there for you. He's never going to go anywhere else. You mean so much to him. You and your family are his world. And he wants you to know that in his life, he worked hard. And he said, I am at peace now, so I can give you some of that peace to help reassure you that you're not on your own. Okay. Please take his love. He's a fabulous man. And thank you for working with me. And I'm sorry I can't see you. Great. Thank you. That's good. Okay, let's see who else we have. Okay. I'm aware of a young woman now, and I believe she is a friend to somebody here. And she tells me that she had breast cancer, and from then on, you know, it spread. But she was ill with cancer for 3 years, and she had 2 remissions in that cancer, where she felt that she was free of it, and then it came back, and then she was, you know, then she was free again, and then it came back. But unfortunately, it had spread everywhere by then, and through the lymphatic system as well. She's telling me she doesn't look very old. She only looks to me in her 40s, but I know that she's a friend to someone here, someone who's listening, because she wants to talk, and she's quite a colourful woman. She wears colourful clothes. She wouldn't be seen drab. I know she's fully made up. I know that she takes pride in her hair. Even her nails are beautiful. Everything about her is stylish. Does anybody understand this, please? Oh, thank you. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just hoping that something great. Oh, 50s. I'm sorry. I've done. I've. She looks younger to me. I'm just going to. Okay. All right. So I don't mind going that side of her age. Okay. And would she accept that she's quite a colourful friend? You know, she wears strong colours, and she's made up, and she's got her hair done, that kind of thing. Now, what about the one that just came up, though? Does she understand it? Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. Right, but she understands her being colourful character. Right. That because I felt I was with her. That's the point. I'm going to have to. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you what your friend is telling me, which is it did start in the breast. Maybe she didn't know that, but I definitely heard that. Okay. Would you accept that you and your friend had a really good relationship? You didn't see each other all the time, but it was almost like you could pick up where you left off. You know, if you didn't see each other for a few weeks, it was just, you could just pick up where you left off. But there's a great sense of humour between the two of you. Just want to be sure I'm with the right person. So. Okay, let's see. Because what she's talking about is this, that I believe that your friend here was able to tell you more than she could tell anyone else about her illness and about her issues, problems. Because that's what she's saying to me. But she's telling me the words, Lorraine, that you were her lifeline, that you were there for her, not saying nobody else was, but she trusted you with her life. She knew that whatever she told you would stay with you and you wouldn't discuss it with anyone else. She tells me that you saw her through her illness almost daily and that you were always there for her with the right words at the right time. And this is how she sees it. And what she's saying to you is, I want you to know that that how grateful I am to you, A, for your friendship, and B, for your loyalty, because loyalty means the world to both you and her. She talks about the fact that, you know, she could be scared with you. She could talk to you about her fears, but she couldn't with anyone else. She didn't want, I'm not saying she wanted to burden you at all, but she felt free and you enabled her to be free, to say what she had to say and not have to put up with it without expressing how you felt. She can't thank you enough. She can't thank you enough for your friendship. It meant the world to her. She says towards the end of her life, you were always there with something. It could be some flowers or it could be something to eat or a paper of some sort, magazine or whatever, but you never went empty-handed. And she says, and you always tried to talk about something more than her illness, and she was so grateful for that. You tried to keep her aware of what was going on in the world too. And she talks about, is she okay? That's fine as long as it's for all of her. Okay, thank you. And that's it. It's all about the confidence. So obviously, if it's for Leslie and she understands about being confiding in her, that's what this is about. Sorry. Because she's talking about how you helped her every step of the way, and she would have had a different ending to her life if it hadn't have been for Leslie. She talks about how you were selfless. You gave so much of yourself to her, and there wasn't a day go past where you didn't think about her, phone her, visit her, do something that had a connection with her. And she says to you, I will never ever forget your kindness. You were a real friend and you mean the world. And she's showing me now, I've got online here that she says you still give her husband flowers. And she's saying, she's showing me these flowers, and unfortunately you've got the worst person in the world to describe flowers. All I know is that they're purples and blues. I can only tell you that, but they're not roses because I know what they are. They're like a daisy looking flower, but they're purples and blues is what she's saying. So I'll leave that with you. But I know that she wanted you to have something of hers, something very small. It wasn't jewelry, but it was something. And she's showing me a key ring, strangely enough, of all the things to give you. But she wanted you to have something of hers and to remember that every time you open your door, that key ring is going to remind you of her, and that there will always be a part of you with her. She really wants to get across to you, Leslie, that she's free. She always was a free spirit. And now she can do all those things she wanted to do and never got time to do. And I know that she has a very creative aspect to her. And I know that she's talking about looking into more artistic things in that sort of creativity style. Not necessarily painting or drawing, but just being with colour, because colour was so important to her. And she says important for you as well. I know that you've told me this, but I still have to do my job by her, which is to say to you, thank you for keeping your support up with my husband. She wants to thank you for that, because she wants you to know that she is so grateful to you for everything you do, especially at this time when there are a lot of demands on your time. And she wants to say to you that this is the time now for you to start thinking about your own future and your own way forward, and know that she's behind you every step of the way, and she's encouraging you to do all the things that you want to do. And I know that she's so happy to be here for you. So I do hope that's helped and given you something to think about, Leslie, and just accept that the reason why she came through was to thank you. Okay. All right. And thank you very much for working with me. Okay. Okay, let's see what else we have here. All right. Is there anyone here who remembers a young man who was a friend, he's not family, who was killed in a car accident, but he only looks to me 19 or 20, that's all. And he's showing me the accident, which is where he's driving along a road and he's going round a bend, but he doesn't go round the bend, he goes straight on, and he hits something like a barrier or a tree, something solid. Anyway, does anybody understand that at all? Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Nobody knows the young boy in the spirit world who passed through a car accident. And I felt the car turned over. That was the point. No. Yeah. You may have to go back in your minds a long way. May not be a recent passing. Oh, okay. That's fair enough, because I'm not good at ages. I'm not good at flowers and I'm not good at ages. No, that's not a motorbike, it's a car. No, no, he's round the bend, yeah, yeah. Right. So I've got one's 19, which is what I said, 19. And can I just talk to Kylie, please? Just to make sure that I'm with the right person. And if this is for Kylie, would she know him as a friend or an acquaintance? Yeah, but was it a car and did he go round a bend and all of that? You know, I got to know that it's all the information is right. Well, the guy I'm looking at, he was he he was a friend to somebody, but he's not a close friend. He would have been in a group of friends, you know, like they would have gone out to a pub in an evening, and he'd have been one of a crowd. That's what I'm feeling from him. But he was also a young man who had real issues, real problems. He found it very difficult to live in this world. You know, he was unreliable, he could be irresponsible, all of that. No, it's got to be a car. No, it's got to be a car. No point giving me a car if it's not a car. Hit a power pole. Is that still Kylie? Okay. Yeah, but it's not a car. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, I have to accept that because it's solid. Yeah. Okay. But I know that it was solid. That's what I felt with the impact. But would Lorraine accept? Right, okay, because I know it wasn't a close friend of hers. But would she also know him with a group of other friends? Yeah. No, that's fine. I'd rather she said no. I'd rather she said that. Okay. Okay. The young man I've got, he looks to me 19, 20. I could take 21. I can be out a couple of years, but he looks like that. He's very much someone who really struggled. I feel that he doesn't really seem to fit in very easily. That's the point. He really seems to struggle through life, and he just was reckless, just reckless. Right. Would she say that he was reckless? Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, that's where I want to go. Thank you. Because I know that if I'm with the right person, then Vivian would remember having a word with him on several occasions, trying to help him stay on the straight and narrow, if you know what I mean, staying on track. He was a bit all over the place. I can't really find words to express this. No, it is a car. I can't take it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. It's got to be a car. All right. And as long as Vivian understands what I'm saying, if she can just let me know yes or no, I'll be really grateful. Then we can get on. Right. Fantastic. Right. Okay. That's great. Then I know I'm with her. Because the feeling he's giving me is that he was what I call it. I hope you understand this. He was a bit hyper. He seemed to be sort of always on the go, overexcitable, never able to focus on the ordinary and everyday. He's always got to be doing something else, you know. And he talks about the fact that you, Vivian, had helped him. That's my point. That he wants to get across to you that you tried your best to help him see what life was all about and to take more control of his destiny. And you were always worried for him. You always felt that he needed a bit of looking after, if you like, that he was a challenge is the word he's using, which isn't my word. But he wants to thank you, Vivian, for making his life, making a difference in his life. You gave him a lot of support where you could have turned your back on him. He says to you, you know, you could have stopped in seeing your daughter, or you could have tried anyway, but you didn't. You saw the good in him, and he'll never forget your kindness because you always saw the good in him. He was irresponsible with money as well, he's saying, and that's what would worry you, that he didn't seem to understand understand about priorities, you know, taking priorities. So he wants to get across to you how important you are to him, and also what a difference you made to him, because he says to you that, you know, he knew that you were there for him, to help him and to help him deal with life. And yet he was so gullible, he tells you. He was so easily led astray, if you like. But you and your family did everything to help him try to find a strength that made him less vulnerable. And they're his words, not mine. And he just wanted to show you that despite what's happened in your life, he's very close to you, and he's giving back now to your family because of all the good that you gave him. And he wants you to know that you made a massive difference in his life. So please know that he's here and that he wanted to help you, to show you that despite the fact that he died in such tragic circumstances at such a young age, he wasn't born to live for long. He couldn't cope with life. And that's why you were, he says, he knows that you were worried about him on a much deeper level. So please, please take his love and know that he's happy, he's content, and more important, he's living his life to the full now. And I hope you can accept that. And thank you very much for working with me. Oh, thank you. It's 12:15, yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Simone, from my heart, I'd like to thank you for that mediumship today. It's really wonderful. And I believe I should have announced that you're a CSNU or DSNU.
I'm a minister.
Minister. Do apologise even more then.
It's fine. It's
So
fine.
I should have announced it, respect. So it's my fault. And wonderful to have spiritualistic mediumship and the address this morning. And I'm so pleased that we've met. And I hope perhaps later on in the year, next year, you'd serve us once again.
I'll try and get used to working online, but yes.
Yeah. Can I just say, Simone, I know we don't have saints in spiritualism, but I think you're a saint this morning, because you put up with, and you needed the patience of saints, and you've done very well, Simone. And I'm going to hand over to Jackie now to do the rest of the announcement. Blessed be, Simone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm back. And I say, want to thank you as well, Simone. We've had some wonderful messages this morning and evidence of survival. If there ever was a morning that showed survival, and in fact there's so many people out there that are desperate. Some of them joined us for the very first time, and so they perhaps don't understand, you know, our concept of a service and not just messages. So the address was important, but it's the fact is, if people have been able to accept partially some of that message, you know, that perhaps wasn't for them, but you know, I know that Spirit often use a chance to be able to give a message. So for those of you that are new, that are not quite sure about how to get a message, I'm sure that Simone's got a page. You know, we've got our own web pages for both of our churches, Wimbledon and Hackbridge. We've started to do one-to-one readings back at the church on a Tuesday, that you can contact us through our webpage and emails, and you can phone us at home and phone us at church, and you know, we can put you in touch with a medium in your area. If this isn't your local area, you know, there will be a church local to you that you probably don't even realise exists. So if we can put you, you know, to a connection there. But also some of the you know, the desperate pleas, and some of you, you know, over and over again were asking to be linked, and it doesn't work that way. You know, unfortunately, we're not a DJ. We can't take requests. It's the number of people that are there with Simone that are managing to connect and connect quite beautifully. But do know, you know, if you need to speak to a minister, we're at the end of the phone. You know, if you need to find a church, then, you know, send us an email if you can't find your local church. And contact Richard. And watch Richard shows, because, you know, there are several shows that are going on now each week with various different demonstrations of clairvoyance. Ivan Lee was on the show last night. Our son Ashley was doing his philosophy show on Friday night, and I'm always amazed those that link in for Friday knowing it isn't readings. And that was talking with Leslie Knight about healing, and people wanted to know about how they could have healing and how healing worked. So that was wonderful. And I know in a couple of weeks' time, on the Friday, I will be working alongside one of the ministers here, Rose Anderson, talking about all sorts of oracle cards. So that's happening in a couple of weeks' time. There's obviously the Sunday sofa happening at 2:30 this afternoon. Then there's the psychic investigations that is on at 8 o'clock. And so very different shows. With the Sunday sofa, you've got a chance of having a free reading by just sort of being part of the event. You've got the panel of ladies that are there, as Richard is showing. Brilliant. Richard, did you go out to the public then, or have I got to relay that? I can relay that. Sorry to those of you that are thinking that I may be talking to myself. I'm not hearing voices other than Richard through my ear saying that it's Sam's last week this week. And, and he should really talk, because he can talk quite well, Richard, for himself. So did I miss some? Will you say that again, Richard?
And she got special guests.
Special guests. Okay, so we have
It doesn't waffle like that.
It doesn't waffle, right? So we get to the point that, we've got time to go and have a sandwich and come back for the Sunday sofa. And then you've got time to have a break before the 8 o'clock evening in search of the paranormal, which is a very interesting group. I'll go nearer for reading, the Southern Ghost Society. So paranormal investigations, unsolved mysteries, your questions answered, and so much more. And so if you want to find your local spiritualist church or psychic centre, then start looking, use the internet. You found us this morning, possibly for the first time. I also wanted to say a very quick hello to a few other friends that I saw with their names at the bottom of the screen. And Edna, who we haven't seen at church for quite some months, even before lockdown. Christine Woodham from Spain. And obviously Leslie and Tracy, Val, Shirley, Lorraine, Wendy and Mary. So we know that you're with us, and hopefully we're going to start again with our little Wednesday group on the 7th of October. But you do have to contact us first, because we do have a maximum number that we can have with being COVID secure. We closed for a couple of weeks because we needed to find out that we were making sure all the rules were correct, because the rules sometimes seem to change each week. And in fact, I have a nice poster here that I'm just going to show everyone. This is the latest thing that we need to do. And we've got outside the church, sorry? Towards me, okay, yes. And then higher. Okay, so we've now got this outside. I put it up in half a dozen different places, but that's our poster telling you that you're in Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. The idea then is that if you've got a phone that can pick up the NHS new COVID app, then you just then point it at this poster, and then it tells you about the risk area, how high the risk is. When we were experimenting with it yesterday, discovered that we're in a medium area in the Wimbledon area, but I don't know what specifically that means data-wise. So providing numbers stay roughly the same, then we will open on the 7th of October. We will continue with our virtual Sunday service. So we hope to see people on the 7th, provided they're pre-booked. And numbers are okay. If not, we will continue with our church family, with using the WhatsApp group and keeping in touch by telephone, because your safety is our main concern. We have heard that some churches have reopened, but we've also heard that some of them are not perhaps complying, and there's not a lot of room and there's not a lot of space. Be assured at this church we have a one-way system. We are all 2 meters apart, behind, to the side, diagonally. You know, we are a lovely big church. And if you are local to us and you want to come for the first time, then give us a ring, give us an email, And if you are quite some distance, then let us help you find your local Spiritualist church and see whether they're open. So that's really all I wanted to say this morning with the notes, other than once again thanking Richard, because without him we would never have started our virtual services all those months ago, 6 months ago now. To thank the virtual congregation for coming and being part of us today. To certainly thank Simone, wonderful that physical distance is no longer a barrier and that we are able to have some very fine mediumship coming to us virtually. And it just shows that Spirit, you know, they're up for it. They are up for communicating in the virtual world. We're all terrified, but, you know, they see it as a lovely means to be able to get out there to people. And that's what we've done. You know, our congregation has gone up 100-fold. We couldn't physically get the numbers. You know, our service last week, I think it was 1,400. We couldn't have got 1,400, you know, in our church. We can hold 300. We used to when we had all the chairs out. And eventually we can hold that number again. Sorry, Richard? Yes, I said that earlier, that 110,000 people have been reached by our show all over the world, not just limited to here. I think last week we had 3 people from Australia. So it was amazing that so many people have found us. So continue to share, continue to reach others by tagging in, and continue to look online and see all the various different variety of different aspects. Look up, you know, some very famous pioneers of our movement, and, you know, look into all the different programs that are there in the past on YouTube, and all the past programs that we have on the Spiritual Psychic TV. And as I say, I'm sure that we will see Simone again, and certainly on other things. So thank you once again, Simone. If I could just ask us all to close our eyes and to just send the healing out once again. Use that energy that we've built up across the whole world to enlighten the world, to give us the upliftment to go on as light workers. We can make that difference, as Simone said earlier in her address. And I always say it's our spiritual impact that we have, like a global footprint. That spiritual impact will keep us uplifted, will keep us in the light. And we ask that there be a blessing on all heads bowed and joined with us now, and all families represented, until we meet again, both virtually and physically. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
And a goodbye to everyone. I'm sure we're just going to be drifting out, Richard. Maybe. On the endings, we're drifted. Yes. You're going to see us levitate off the rostrum in a moment. You know.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Ministers to ministers. So